Alright guys, it is Sunday. I'm going to post this tomorrow on Halloween, October 31st. So I'm aware that there was an arrest already made in this attack, and there's some information coming out presently about potentially being a third person there, something about this guy and a nudist colony. I'm not really sure. I'm not following it too much, but it does pop up online and I glance at it. So when it first happened, they didn't make the arrest, and so, or they didn't announce the arrest, they just announced the attack, and I tried to see if I could see what the attacker looked like. And I would say I was relatively accurate in the sense that I knew he had darker hair and he was of like a lighter ethnicity, like a white guy potentially. I don't know what his ethnicity is, but he has like lighter skin, dark hair. However, his hair in my mind looked a lot darker than it is in the photo of his arrest. And so the reason I'm telling you this is so that you kind of gauge from there. I don't know, I'm just going to spit out information as it comes to me, and you can make of it what you want. So yeah, I was like, I saw that, I thought, okay, so I'm on to something, so that's pretty cool. Not really cool, it's good, but, you know, tragic that this happened. And then I was thinking, well, I'm not going to do a video on it. There's really no point to contribute to this confusion, and also because I just feel like staying out of it. But I don't know, it feels like not that I want to say anything, but there's something to be added to this. So what I'm going to say is just going to be a little snippet. Who am I talking to personally during this reading? You know, there are energies coming through. It's my guardian angels. But there are people coming through. There are energies coming through. It feels like it's energies. I can see energies on both ends, but the ones that are really coming through stronger are the ones on David's end. It's a older woman, so I don't know if his mother has passed or it's someone in relation to his mother or on his mother's side of the family, and she would have known him in this life. She was around him. She's showing me like snacks, like Oreos, or maybe those like Swiss things. It's like black and white, and it's like a sweet, and it feels like sort of like a chocolatey with, you know, that kind of like cream filling. She's showing me that and associating that with her and him, so that would be like another confirmation for him. And I'm just seeing blue, like a blue wrapper, so that's why I say Oreo, because it's something to do with like the color blue, all of this mixed in. And there's this energy that she's pulling forward, that she is encouraging him, and he's feeling this, okay? So he's aware of this. He can feel her energy, whether he's, you know, consciously aware of this, or it's more of just like an intuition that he's feeling, like a nudge, and he's not really, like, his higher self is aware of this, but he's not really connecting that in his logical mind. It kind of feels like, it feels like he knows he's being directed, but he doesn't know exactly whom is directing him. So it will be her, and it's her encouraging him to come clean. And as I say that, I see like pleated fabric. When I said that, I saw an image of pleated fabric. So I'm not sure what that means, but when I said that, she showed me pleated fabric, and she associated it with him. And she's saying that she's encouraging him to come clean, open up, tell the truth, and there's this feeling that he's aware that he is being pressured or pushed to tell the truth. However, I'm hearing it as I think it's like a double negative, like you'd be right or you'd be wrong, that there's nothing that will come of it. So something would come of it, but the way that it's worded is like nothing. Nothing's gonna come from it. So if you take that in its true meaning, then that means something will, right? Okay. My guardian angels, they're intercepting and they're pulling me back to originally when I was looking at this reading, I was looking at this guy, before I knew his name, before I knew what he looked like. And they were telling me to bring up what I saw. And so I didn't see what had happened. It might have said it in the article, I'm not sure. Just, he was in brain surgery, or he was I have no idea, something like, it doesn't matter. It barely said anything because it was fresh news. And so I saw him, I saw David, and then I heard influenced by, no, that's not the word, but it was implied influence, like connected, not connected, but I knew the word right before I started recording. It starts with a C, but it's basically he's influenced by, so it was like connected somehow to this other guy that I saw in my head, and it looked like a black guy. I would say, honestly, what it looked like to me when I tried to picture what he looked like I tried to make sense of it in my mind, he showed me Obama. Not to say Obama's involved in this. This could also just be like influenced by the political affiliation, so it could be specifically Obama. I'm not sure, but it feels literally feels like there's a influence from this other person that this happened. So it was like implanted that like that person, this other person, somehow created an idea or concept or was somehow part of this that involved it's like the main person is like this random guy that I see in my head that's unknown. And then you have on the other side connected is David and I think his name's Paul. David and Paul Pelosi. So it's like those two are connected, and they feel like they're in this world. Like I can physically like feel them, like energetically I can feel them as a person. And then this third person, this black guy, I'm gonna say it's a black guy, I don't know, because it literally looks like Obama to me, where it's like this light caramel skin, shorter hair, potentially even like very short hair, like minimal hair, like shorter than Obama's, but like a good looking guy, good smile, put together, probably has a good reputation, at least like to the public, but then has a little bit of a grappling kind of energy to him in the background. It's like behind the scenes, it feels very like the word I'm getting is grapple. Like he's like scrappy or grappling. And as I'm saying this, I'm pulling my attention to my curtain. So I have this curtain that I close, and then I have a secondary curtain rod that has like shears, and I noticed that it was off place, and it's pulling my attention there. like distraction, distraction, distraction. That's what it's telling me, is like it's associating me with that distraction. And normally whenever I start getting up and moving around, or like something keeps calling my attention, it's either telling me something. So like maybe they're indicating something to do with the window, or there's some, which we know that there was a broken window. At this point I know that. I know there's a broken window. I know there was a hammer involved. I don't know about this gay nude thing, or I have no idea. It's something about underwear. I'm not sure, and I think most everyone's unsure as well. So well, let me ask this. Angels. Who knows? Who knows? When I said who knows, I was drawn immediately to my tripod bag, and I heard camera. So whomever has access to the cameras obviously knows the full situation. So obviously there are well, I don't know if it's obvious, but in my mind it's obvious now that there are cameras that recorded this incident in its entirety, and the people who have access to this camera are fully aware of who's involved. And I'm hearing, like, the way that they're showing me is, like, these people who are viewing the recordings, it feels like men, like law enforcement, or people that are, like, private security, or even, like, federal investigators, you know, like someone of a different organization, or, like, you know, you have the city that's involved, so it's like people above, right? Or like different. And there's people who are thinking, and who could, the conversation that's either going on or in the mind is like, where do we go from this? Like, what do we do with this information? Not in the sense that they don't, it's like, how do we handle it? How do we work with this? Like, what we have, how do we work with it? Like, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm gonna, how do we work with it? David feels, and I hear this conversation going on in his mind, and it's like he's talking to this person that I picked up on, this passed away person. He's talking directly to her, and it's a back and forth conversation that makes it, when I hear this conversation, when I witness this conversation in my mind, it looks like he's fully aware of this conversation. Like he's aware that he's talking to her. But you know how sometimes when you talk to somebody, like in your head, right? And so you're intentionally talking to them, but you don't actually think that you are, right? It's just like a coping mechanism, or like comfort, or whatever it is, right? Like, it doesn't extend, I don't want to say like it extends to like, what would this person do? It's like, if I talk to them, what would their advice be? It's like he's literally talking to them like you would talk out loud to yourself or to this other person. You get what I'm saying? So he's doing this, and she's responding back in his mind, obviously, because she's in spirit totally, and not in, anyway. And it's like, he's right to say nothing's gonna come of this. Like, it's like, but I'm hearing he's saying nothing's gonna come of this, but then I'm hearing in my head, nothing is gonna come of this. So he would be right to say that nothing will work in his favor necessarily. Like, they're pulling me to, okay, this is going to be very controversial what I'm about to say, but this is what I see in my head. So there's this story, or like this video of this young boy who's descending from outside the palace, Buckingham Palace, and nothing really came of that, I don't believe, like, at least to the public, right? I don't know what happened beyond that, don't know the context of that. I mean, maybe I do, I have no idea, right? And there's some similar energy to that, so whether he feels a similar energy where it's like, what is the extent that anything would happen beyond this, other than it just, and then he's pulling me, oh my goodness, he's pulling me to, I'm going to be careful with this one. I'm being instructed to be careful on this one. I will say he's bringing me to an event that happened several years ago in the United States. And nobody really talks about it anymore. And this particular event had a brother involved. There was another person, how do I say? So, on the West Coast of the United States. And I would wager that a lot of people, when you heard the news of this, like, event, your first intuition, for those of you who, you probably already know what I'm talking about, if you're intuitive, is, wait, there's something else going on here. There's something else, I don't know what it is, something's going on here. And then pretty much next to nothing came out of it necessarily. The person was convicted or killed. I don't know. I think he was killed. I don't remember. I think, oh yeah. I think he was killed. I don't know. But that's like, I can't even remember. I should look into that. Okay. Moving on, because I'm not really supposed to go too much into it. So, what is it, guardian angels? Like, obviously I'm prompted to do this recording, so what are we supposed to gather from this? I see an angel. It's like the traditional depiction of an angel, kind of like with that bell dress, and very simplistic, and that's reminding me of Christmas, or it's reminding me of the winter holidays. Maybe something will resurface during that time, or it could indicate just a genuine angelic being, like, saying that they're here. Again, not sure. I'm just gonna say what comes up, not try too much to look into it myself, since I don't know. I just heard everything has its purpose, and we're going to find out very soon what this purpose in this incident was. Or they're going to find out. We're not going to find out. It's like they're going to find out. I feel a lot of energies around the incident. So that day, it feels like a lot of energies, but they're separate. It's like someone who's on their hands and knees. That's the way that I'm saying it. Is there's someone that's on their hands and knees. That's one message. Then there's a second message where it feels like an audience. So whether this is a lot of energies surrounding them, or this could mean that they were like streaming, like live streaming something, you know, like people would be watching them. If there were several people there that were watching some sort of particular event, it feels like there are a lot of energy surrounding them that day, that time, that moment when he was in there. I just asked, and I said, did he break in? And it showed me this long nose, like Pinocchio. And so that potentially could be indicating that that's untrue. I don't know. It's interesting because it's like I'm hearing everything has its purpose. We're gonna find out, but then I don't know why Guns N' Roses is coming through. Like every rose has its thorn. I'm not sure how that. Well, I don't know how any of this relates really. Can we get something more substantial though, or is that enough? Something about good luck. Like there's something about this that's because I saw an image of a frog, like a tree frog. I think that's like good fortune or good luck, something like that. And then it morphed into a lizard, like a New Mexican lizard. You know, like the print of that. I'm hearing he's not ever going to be found out because he's not supposed to be. They're saying pay attention to now until Christmas. So Christmas is coming through again, but they're saying pay attention to now until Christmas. I'm not seeing, I asked and I heard, and I'm not seeing if this was like some sort of ritualistic thing, like the motive behind it. It feels like it was like a misinterpretation or a misunderstanding. There's someone else that's influenced this situation. And the way that they're showing me is as if he either didn't want to do it or he wasn't. It was, okay, this is how they're showing me, is as if someone else attacked and then told David to finish it off or to attack or to be the one to hold the hammer or whatever, right? Like, it's like, or hold the weapon, the gun, or I don't know. It's like, I'm doing this, but you need to be the one who does it, or like you are the one that's gonna finish it, like that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there is someone there. Again, it could just be this internal influence that prompted him to do it, but it's definitely at the thought or the hands of another person. It doesn't feel like he would have done it on his own. Because it feels like David's a very sensitive person towards Paul. It's like he feels very sensitive towards him and almost like loving towards him. It's like he wouldn't want to actually hurt him. So, like, if he... Like, I'm feeling in my head. I'm feeling head pressure during this. And then, like, a pain in my temples. So, it's like... intense emotion. There's intense emotion involved, but it's directed towards Paul. I know that the original article was saying that he was screaming, "Where's Nancy?" But it doesn't actually feel that way. It feels like it just feels like he was told to say that. But again, it's like if someone was schizophrenic or something, it's like they could still perceive that as like the voices in their head telling them to say something, you know? That's not to say that that's reality, but that's how it feels. Like he was told. He was instructed to do this. He was influenced to do this. It feels like love. It's like he would have... I don't know, there's compassion, not necessarily compassion. I mean, I'm hearing the word love, and I'm feeling a little bit of fondness towards Paul from David. It's like, wouldn't you know that I love you or that I care about you? Like, I wouldn't... It's like he wouldn't want to do that. Like, he's not... It doesn't feel like what he's saying is like, I'm not a violent person. I'm not an oppressive person. I'm not that kind of way. Like, I might have strong opinions and beliefs, but I'm not violent. It doesn't feel like he's a violent person. So this is like very out of character for him. He wouldn't have shown a history of this type of violence before. It doesn't feel. It feels like deviance. There's some sort of history of deviance, but not like this type of physical assault or hatred towards another person. I'm seeing the number 1. I'm seeing a number 1 as if it's on an object, whether it's like a jersey or like a product, like it could even be on the hammer. I don't know. I'm seeing a number 1 on an item. I'm going to ask for angel numbers to assist with this. So angel number, you can look this up. Okay, first I'm seeing letters first. And they're showing me, it looks like an F or an F or L full. It could be like FLE, like something with those kind of sharp in the, that's what I'm saying. They're showing me something to do with that. (905). Angel number 905. And then like 905. And then we're going to do a separate. So 905 and 4, 4, 4, 7. 4,447 angel number. We're not going to know what happened fully because we're not supposed to know. So it's not important enough or significant enough for us to figure this out. Like the public. It's definitely a feeling of impending doom for David. David feels this impending doom, like his fate is doomed. And he feels like he didn't even do anything wrong. It's like, I didn't even actually do anything wrong. The way he's seeing it is he didn't even, like, he feels like his truth is that he didn't even do it. That's his truth. Like, he didn't do this. So whether this is the reality or if he was there, he was definitely there, but the way that it's showing me is he's standing away from it as it's happening, and then someone encouraging him to like take the hammer and finish him off or do this, or like instructing him on what to do. And he's like, he feels like a little boy. He feels very weak minded, you know, like, I need to do this, or I'm supposed to do, I should do this, but I don't want to do this. I'm being told to do this. Like, it's almost like if someone was under a trance, and you know, it's like normally someone would be more assertive, but in this situation it's like they're in a trance of like, you're gonna be a little boy, a little victim, and you're gonna do what I say you're gonna do. And then, you know, or like a possession, right? Like, this is how it feels. Like, this, again, this is not necessarily the reality of it. Not to just throw more confusion onto this. Hopefully there, you know, obviously there's a reason for me doing this. I don't know what, but it could also be indicative of like disassociation during this, right? So I'm just throwing that out there, since I don't have anyone to clarify these things for me. Because he's talking to this woman. He's like, you know, I'm not like that. You know, I wouldn't do that. You know, I'm not that kind of person. She's comforting him like, I know. And he feels like he's going to get killed. He's like, they're going to kill me. Like whether this is people in the prison system, people just out to get him because of what he did, or what people think that he did. It's like he just feels like it's the end for him. Like the end of the road for him, the end of his life. And freedoms, which obviously, I mean, he wouldn't be wrong, but sounds like an altercation out there. Okay, we have joy, not for you. King of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Page of Cups, Chariot, Ten of Swords at the bottom. So then we have the Lovers here, which you can literally take it as that, but I also see 3 because I was specifically wondering how many people were involved in this situation, and I am being drawn to 3 with the influence, this heavy influence, and contract. Sometimes the Lovers can indicate a contract, some sort of contract. And so intuitively what I feel here is that the situation that occurred, like, it was just supposed to be for fun. So it feels like they know each other, they are familiar with each other, and it does feel like it was supposed to be some sort of joyful experience. It was supposed to be lighthearted, it was supposed to be fun. There is fondness shared between these 2 people or other people who are involved. It definitely feels like there's some sort of, it feels like an audience or just other people around, or energies being around. It could even be like, again, like filming or something. What just, they just fell out. That's what it feels like to me. It's like there's some other element here that is the controlling factor beyond these 2 that are stated here, Paul and David. There's some other factor involved here, and while these 2 are the main people involved going on here, there's some sort of element beyond that that's, you know, like, it could even be like blackmail or something, you know, it's like filming or something. It's like something going on there, something else. Because even with Not For You in reverse, the way that I'm seeing this specifically is like the denial of intuition, right? Because this, to me, this is signifying intuition and like a pathway out, an option to take a different route, not to go through with something, or not to kind of reconnect with this person or constantly be around this person when something feels off. And of course we have these two, it's a chessboard. We have the two players here, and then a fortune here, and the fortune on here says nope. It says nope, no. And the fact that it's reversed to me tells me that all signs pointed to no. Like, stay away from each other, stay out of this situation, don't let this get out of hand. And it really feels like, when I say that, it feels like this intensity building between them. It feels sexual in nature, to be honest with you, but it could just be like passion, but it's like some sort of like connection. It's almost like an addictive quality to each other, like a fixation or something. And then it's spiraling out of control, because then they're being blindsided by that passion and not seeing what's going on the outside. It's like you're playing with fortune cookies, you know, and cracking them open, when there's like a whole strategy game being played behind the scenes that you completely neglected. And above that even is the most clear source of direction that's being ignored as well. So it's like so much has been ignored here. So much has been you haven't been paying attention. The way that I see this feels like the King of Swords would be Paul, and the Eight of Pentacles. This is two people, actually. This feels like Paul, then it feels like almost like the public persona, or like the public perception of Paul. So he has, you know, his public persona, and he has his like personal relationships and his persona around these people. And the Eight of Pentacles is David, and there's obviously a difference in dynamics here and in control and power, right? This is a King of Swords, and this is just, you know, a laborer. And so it feels like he's hired work for the King of Swords. The King is, the way that it's showing me is like a slave owner, right? And then a laborer. And so it's like he is under the, like an indentured slave, but doesn't ever really able to pay off his debts. And so that's how it feels. It's like they're kind of in some form enslaved to each other, because then something here got out of hand, and control happy or something. And I'm seeing this very literal, in the sense that this is some sort of history that happened here during that day, and also in general, where there is this offer. What this offer feels like is a physical offer, a material offer. It doesn't feel emotional, and yet it keeps getting denied. It keeps getting rejected. It keeps getting pushed away. It's almost as if like the vibe that I'm getting, not to say it's the reality, but the vibe that I'm getting is like if someone were to want to snuggle after they hook up, and then the person's like, you know, doesn't ever want to do that, and it's like, well, why are you here? Like, or if they like paid for them, it's like, I paid for this, like, you're still on the clock, you know. It's like, well, you know, I don't want to because it doesn't feel right, or it's like, you treated me a certain way, or whatever. And so it's like they try and pacify them with something, but then like the damage is already done because something bad happened. Like, I'm kind of mixing up the story, but you get the gist of what I was trying to say. The Chariot feels like that drastic change in the decision between this white thing and this black thing, indicative of like your higher self, like, or the higher path, and a darker path, darker decisions, and it very quickly turning dark, very quickly, very, very, very abruptly turning dark. But the interesting thing here, as I said, is that this feels more of that interpersonal relationship going on somewhere between these two, like a dynamic between these two, where it's this constant battle, or this constant, it's a constant issue. It's a constant issue. You know, it's this here, this is the Eight of Pentacles. That's David, always David. And this is the King of Swords. This is always Paul. It's like, he's always trying to offer something, and it's just, it's not what David's looking for, David's wanting. It doesn't feel fulfilling. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel fair. And it feels like just disrespectful, like a disrespect or a disregard that he's even a person. And then that getting out of hand, like that passion shared there is getting out of hand, where it blindsides both of them to this external event, or this external, you know, boiling of emotions or something that led to what happened. And it doesn't feel like, he doesn't feel like he's taking accountability. It feels like he genuinely feels like he didn't do it, or he wasn't involved, or he wasn't part of it, but that he got caught up in it, or he's blamed for it. Again, not to say that's the truth. That could just be the perception, or it could be that he blocked it out, or he was disassociating. We're gonna know, we are gonna know in some way what happened. I know I keep going back and forth on that, but it's like, how do I describe this other than like that particular event that I was talking about in the West Coast, or like the Buckingham Palace event. It's like, do we really, as a public, do we know the specifics of both? No. Have people gotten really, really close? Probably. Have they gotten some valuable information that would let people kind of make a more informed, not decision, but like belief on what happened, right? Are they more informed? Yes. So it's like, you're gonna see a different perspective. The majority of people, I mean, it's not the majority. That those people, if you're aware of the things I'm talking about, then you're probably not the majority, unfortunately. But something's gonna open up, like something's gonna occur, something's gonna happen, People are going to investigate, or someone's going to release some sort of information when it comes to this that is going to let select people who are wanting to know. And I would say that more people who don't talk about it, right, who don't release this information, like people that are politically affiliated, like higher up people, or you know, just involvement in some way or another, they have more information. These other people are going to have more information. They're going to know. I hope I'm making sense there. I'm seeing the way the Chariot, I'm seeing him making an actual movement with his hands. He has this staff here, and I see him like swinging it over to the other side of his chest, and then swinging it back. Swinging it there and swinging it back. And that's, he's showing me like an oath or a promise. Like, it's like people on the spiritual side who are like, I will get this out. I will get this out. I will communicate this to people, or kind of unblock some of this information from the right people. And you will be able to know to a certain degree that's going to have you at least be more informed. You'll be a lot less confused. That's what I see. All right, bye.